welcome to Eat These Words. Today I'm looking at 5 British recipes that have stood the test of time. All recipes featured I will link in the description box below for you. I'm going to start with my never fail cheese scones. The term scone has been around since the 1400s when they were piled up with biscuits to make a wedding cake. The earliest written recipe is dated 1669 and was supposedly enjoyed by poorer people in various flavours. With the invention of baking powder in 1843, these frugal but tasty items took on new life and were made either savoury or sweet like they are today. Moving into the 20th century, the scone became part of everyday life in Britain. Made by many British housewives and found in nearly all bakeries, they were enjoyed as a treat or at afternoon tea. This recipe is one I developed after having limited success with my mother's recipe. Next up is my mother-in-law's Gingernuts recipe. The ginger nut or ginger snap has been around for centuries. Like today, they were considered to be a medicinal, aiding in digestion and treating the symptoms of nausea. They were often given at weddings or holidays as a symbol of good luck and prosperity. In the Industrial Revolution in the 1800s, it brought about mass production of these lovely delicacies, but they were never as good as the homemade variety. With a lovely crunch and a slightly chewy inside, they make a great addition to a cup of tea or coffee. This recipe makes approximately 20, which can be frozen before baking, but they store great in an airtight container once baked. On to the rock bun or rock cake. They came about due to the scarcity of ingredients and limited income of families during the 18th century. They weren't light and fluffy originally, as they had no baking powder in them, but were nearly flat with a slight bump depending on how they were spooned onto the baking sheet. They were named after their rough exterior that is said to resemble a rock, and not the texture of them, in case you were wondering. They were promoted by the Ministry of Food during World War II due to having less eggs and sugar in them than most sweet treats at the time. You could amend the recipe to whatever addition you had in your larder at the time: sultanas, raisins, currants, cherries, coconut, or even just plain. So they were very versatile and kept children and adults happy. They were popular enough to be mentioned in novels such as Agatha Christie's novel Three Blind Mice, and more recently in the Harry Potter novel The Philosopher's Stone, when Hagrid offers Ron Weasley and Harry a rock cake at tea. Incidentally, they're one of the first recipes I ever made with my mum because they were so easy to make. Sage and onion stuffing is one of the easiest things to make. But did you know that stuffing your roast dates back to Roman times? The Romans used to stuff their roast with herbs and vegetables and grains to get more flavour into their meat. Or maybe to disguise the meat. Who knows? Stuffings have been called many things over the years. Farce in the late 1300s, stuffing in the 1500s, and force meat in the 1600s. Mrs. Beeton describes many varieties of these items in her book of Good Housekeeping, written in the late 1800s. This includes a recipe for sage and onion stuffing. The recipe came about in an attempt to use up stale bread, like many recipes did in the time, and was originally paired with duck, goose, or pork, not the chicken I pair it with today. However, this recipe comes from my mother-in-law and is a firm family favourite, enjoyed mainly at Christmas, which is the only time I make it. Unlike Mrs. Beeton, I use chicken stock to moisten my stuffing, making it lovely and light and not heavy and claggy. The term gingerbread often refers to a light gingery sponge. However, this is not at all that. This recipe was invented in the mid-1800s by a lady from Cumbria to sell outside her house for extra income for the family. It is still sold today in the picturesque Lake District village of Grasmere, using the recipe from 1854 at the same home it was originally invented in. The recipe is a closely guarded secret, so this one is from Jane Grigson's book English Food. You can see from the recipes I've shown you today that traditional British recipes are based on using minimum ingredients to obtain maximum flavour. In today's fast-paced world, the cost of living going up and wages getting less, now is the time to start going back to our roots and reinvigorate our older, more traditional recipes. This is what I aim to do on this channel with your help. Please like, share, comment and subscribe to keep these recipes alive. Share with me below your favourite recipe and let me know why it is so important to you. You don't know, it may turn out in my next video. Anyway, for now, thanks for watching. Liz out.